Hi, let's continue exploring light in Unreal Engine 4. In previous two videos we seen the two type of light, static and stationary. So just to repeat it quickly, static light is completely baked and all shadows and light information will be stored in the textures called light maps, and stationary light, it combines both baked shadows and dynamic shadows, and it blends between them in such a way that you don't really see the difference. And we studied two types of dynamic shadows, which are cascaded shadow maps used at short distance, and distance field shadows used for more far distance. Now we didn't see yet the third kind of light, movable, which is completely dynamic and enables you to have the movable sun. In this case, it will be able to rotate during the gameplay and allow you to have a change of time of day or night cycles, things like that. Well, let's look at it directly right now. Let's put our sun in movable, and now we only have the dynamic light in this scene, right? So all baked information should be gone. For example, we have seen those volumetric light maps that stores the light and shadows around the static objects. They should be gone, but no, they are not gone yet. It's simply because the bake we did before, they still stuck here. To really remove all baked light from the scene, there is a special checkbox for no pre-computed lighting. You have to say the Unreal to remove it, so it will say you that you need to bake the scene again once. Let's do it, and now we really don't have any pre-computed light, anything baked, and it's only all dynamic. And we can move our moon, and we can also in game move our sun. We can, I don't know, like attach our sun here and play, and everything moves. Perfect. So you can ask yourself why we need those baked shadows, because as we can see, this completely dynamic scene looks pretty good, but it's simply because this scene is very simple, and most importantly, completely outdoor, completely open. And for this kind of scene, yeah, dynamic shadows, dynamic light is pretty good. We only have here the sun. We don't have any kind of light. We don't have the sky really. We are empty. We are in space. But for something like a space game, it may be even work, and you don't have to store any textures, and you don't have to bake anything. But there is something that movable light cannot do, and let's just look at it. Let's make a little bit more complex scene and put the light back into stationary mode, so we bake it. Let's let's make things more complex. I'll remove all those, and this platform, make it a little bit bigger, and then we will add some more spheres like so. And up. That should go like so. And we will add the roof, so we have a shadow. So you can already see a problem with only movable shadows without the skylight that we didn't see. Like here it's completely black, but let's put another one. Now let's put our here kill switch back off, and the sun is again stationary, and let's build it. Yeah, you see all volumetric light maps are here again. Let's hide them, and you see it looks much better now. You have all those, you can see all those spheres in the back, and you can also see here the ceiling of this room. And why is this? It's because the Lightmass baked light system on Unreal calculates not only direct light but bounced light. And here you have this parameter in Lightmass, while setting Lightmass, number of indirect lightning bounces. So that's the strong point of Lightmass, is to calculate those. And I will just make it a little bit bigger, maybe. Yeah, and it's very good at it. You see, you can have all this bounced light around those spheres behind, and to see how it works, we will put that to 0, no bounces, and build. So back to dark, we have the light coming from here, and it bounces. It doesn't bounce. It comes here and stops here. Let's now put one bounce and build. Now our light will come from here and bounce once, but not bounce again, but because it's just one bounce. So this part is still dark. And as we've seen before, if we put 3, we have one more bounce, and now our floor is lit correctly. So we can put it to, I don't know, 10, and we'll have more bounces, so it will be even more precise and realistic. and this is looking very good, even if we don't even have very high resolution of the light maps. As you can see here, this is the pixel of the light mass texture, and it's very big, but even like so it looks good. Let's increase those. You can override it here for each object in this scene. Let's put bigger number. So now our spheres and our floor and ceiling have similar density of light maps. Let's build it. Oh, that's even more clean and better. And that's the thing you will lose if you use only movable light, purely movable light, purely dynamic light. That's something that dynamic light cannot do. Light bounces. There's a system that like simulates it for the dynamic light. It's called light propagation volume. It calculates dynamic light bounces, but it's very limited. It only works in like 15 meters from the camera, and then turns to black. And well, I have an old GPU, and it's kind of slow for me. Otherwise, well, if you have also skylight and stuff like this, and your scene is like cartoon shaded, you don't have all those subtle variations of light and shadows, that may work for you, only movable light. Or if you have a big world, open world which is completely outdoor, and no, you cannot really bake it because it will be never end. The result will be huge. The size of the light map texture will be very big. Then that's the only way to go, movable light. Well, let's talk a little bit about baking again. Here we have this number of indirect lighting bounces parameter that, as we've seen, limits the number of bounces. And another parameter related to the quality, general quality of the build is, well, there are two of them, indirect lighting quality and static lighting level scale, and those two goes together really. So for example, if I will increase the quality, put it to 2, this one it's better to put it to 0.5, or if I put it to 4, it's better to put it to 0.25. So one is always the inverse of the other, and it basically controls how much samples or rays, or it's called photons, I think, the light mass will send, and how dense it will look at the things. In different tutorials and documentation, Epic recommends to put that in like so, one inverse of the other. And let's build it. And you see it's a little bit slower already. Our scene is very small, but already you see time increased. And bigger is your scene and higher is your quality, longer this take. And as I said before, you can monitor it in this swarm agent program of Lightmass. You also have a log that says what it's doing at this moment. Yeah, now we calculated it and quality is better. Also, another important tick, let's put it back to 1 because too slow. Another important thing to say that our scene here is just white stuff, but if you put some texture here, some colored material like brick, basic brick, and build it, it will calculate the color of the bouncing light correctly. So you see it's dark. It's like dark, a little bit red, like the bricks here. And something important to know about this bouncing light, what's pretty kinda simple to understand, is that if it's white, it will bounce all the light it receives, but if it's already a little bit dark, it will bounce only part of this light, so the reflected light here will be darker too. Another quality thing we probably need to see is the density of this invisible volumetric light map, because like now, if you remember, volumetric light map is the invisible thing that will help us to lit the movable objects. So, for example, if I put a cube and make it movable, then here it works okay. Remove this, and here you can see there is a light bleeding from the top, because the resolution of this volumetric light map is not very high for this cube of this size. So what we can do, we can increase that to, let's say, 100 and build. But of course that will increase the size of the texture we generated for this volumetric light map. And now our cube is completely black. And that you can have this problem, for example, if you make a house and build a light and the character, the player, enters the house, you see his or her feet are a little bit lit because of this kind of leaking. It's the volumetric light map that have insufficient density. And let's put it back. And now the last thing I show you about baking is another thing which is very important to understand. Now we have, as I already said, this level is really small. It's like 20 meters large. Let's put one of those spheres somewhere far, like here it's 1 kilometer from here, and click build. it will work. Oh, I'm sorry. We should put it even further. Let's put it like 500 meters. I always have problem with those. You have removed the two last because it's in centimeters. So 500 meters, let's hit the build button. And now here you can see two things. Lights are very bad, and here it's warning saying that we don't have an important volume in our level, and because of that the generated the built light is of low quality. So that's an optimization of the light building process. For a little small level, Lightmass will just take everything and look at the bounds of the level and build everything there in high quality. But if our level is bigger, then you need those things, Lightmass importance volumes, that say to the Lightmass where is the important part of our level, where basically where the player should go and where the light should be built in high quality, and where it's just the thing seen from a distance and we don't need any quality there. So if we build it now, the warning should disappear and the light here should be back to good quality state. Yep, no warning, and our bounces are back. Well, that's it for the quality of the light building process.